Sanmanan dumelang hello molweni. Petitukwai. I have learned 7 things from watching Married at First Sight Season 2, and I would like to share those things. At number 7, I have Begezela. I know. Don't get triggered. I'm going to explain. So when I say Begezela, I don't mean like letting a man ill-treat you, cause harm to you or your children. But if we want long-lasting relationships, even in healthy relationships, sometimes you won't be happy. And that's just part of life. You aren't always happy. It comes in cycles. And you are responsible for your own happiness, your own peace, all those things that you might be looking for in a partner, you should actually be getting from God. Validation, identity, purpose, joy, love. That surpasses all understanding. We're supposed to get it from God, not from our partners. I think that long-lasting marriages, successful marriages, are also built on the ability to stick through the tough times and to stick through the discomfort, to endure. You will not always be happy. Emhlabeni, period. You will not always be happy. In fact, happiness is a temporary feeling. It's an emotion. It's hormones. But joy, being content, being at peace, those aren't necessarily emotions. Those are states of being. And I think sometimes we look for in our partners what we can only find in God. Only God can give you perfection, right? Our partners are just people like us. And so when I say endure, I mean giving grace to the person next to you with the understanding that they too have shortcomings and they won't always get things right. They're just a person trying their best, if they're trying their best. I believe that Uwongani and Portia could actually make it. And when I say make it, I don't mean just stay together for the sake of staying together, but they stand a chance of a successful long-term relationship if they can learn to problem solve, conflict resolution, and to really hear one another out. And I also think that we are going to have to suffer a little bit, allow the discomfort, allow the unhappiness to settle, and just take it as a part of life. I'm sure that given enough time and enough grace, they would be able to work through the issue of Portia not feeling heard and feeling hurt. I just am not sure if that really is the real problem here. It still seems uncertain if she's giving this a chance because Wongani is the guy that she desires on paper, even if he doesn't match what she hoped for physically, or if she's genuinely grown an attraction from being attracted to him in other ways. That stands to be discovered. If it were me and someone was tolerating how I look because they thought I was a great person, personally, that wouldn't work for me. I couldn't do it. I don't know if that is a factor or not in Wongani not necessarily wanting to fight further for the relationship. Number 6, punishing your spouse won't change them. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You cannot change people. People change when they want to change. If you think you're teaching a person a lesson by punishing them, that is to make yourself feel better. It makes you feel more in control of your life. It makes you feel a level of comfort. And it's a coping mechanism that's actually hurting you because while you're busy punishing them, you have compromised your own peace. You're expending a lot of energy and you're redirecting the anger that you feel instead of confronting it or the disappointment. But you're not confronting it, you're just channeling it in other means. You need to decide if you're staying or you're leaving, if the discussions you're having with this person are not resulting in changed behavior or in understanding. And if you stay, but choose to stay and punish, you're choosing to be miserable. If you stay, you need to accept that they are who they are. And you need to let go. Just release it. No investigations, no war tactics, no psychoanalyzing and hypnotizing and doing all these things that you think will help them when really you're trying to help yourself, because you can't let go. You need to let it go. Number 5, where there is no accountability, there is no growth. People can't grow and get better accidentally. It usually comes with being able to see what it is that you are doing that is not positive or is not contributing towards your relationship in a meaningful way, so that you can stop doing it and start concentrating on the things that are. So if you're not acknowledging it, if you're not apologizing for it, if you're not actively doing away with those behaviors as best as you can and replacing them with positive behaviors, trust me, it's probably going to happen again and again. Portia said, looks are very important. In his eyes, everything I did was wrong, and in the end, our best solution was to go our separate ways. This is a lot more depth. Go back here, she gives the actual reason, or maybe one of the reasons. She found herself in a marriage where it was very critical of her, and I imagine that might have impacted her self-esteem. I can see how that can make the attraction diminish. To the ladies, she said, I was 22 when I got married, ladies, so I don't think I knew what I wanted at that point. But then she says, I've always been ready for marriage. I think marriage is beautiful. The problem is who you marry. Immediately I thought, accountability. Where is she? How can you not know what you want but be ready for marriage? And how can you always have been ready for marriage? I got married at 22. It was quite normal, but was I ready? I don't think I was. I don't think I even knew what I wanted at that age. She said, I've been fighting for love, gentle, freely given love that I know from my childhood. The first thing I'm worried about is, how do you fight for something that's freely given? My choice in men has been pretty questionable. It started with my dad. He kept on running away. I kept on chasing him, just being that girl he can love. It was my approach to relationships. When she said the way she chases is by being lovable, low-key, I get it. She said, for the longest of times, I came across people who wanted to taste the cookie jar and not necessarily love me the way I wanted to be loved. I wish you love. I wish you a deep, deep, joyful, peaceful love. But I fear that a joyful, peaceful love would bore you. And I don't think that she's ready. I want someone with a sense of family. Rejection has played a very huge role and impacted me in a very negative way. I have an absent father and having to try and understand why he was not in my life. And he is emotionally available, he's vulnerable. Then he said, actually, I've been ready. Just meeting people that are not ready. Accountability? When you're never the problem. There's always other children. I had kids with my ex. 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The breakup was not easy to accept. I met her in 2008. She was everything to me. Sometimes you even forget. When you see something, you want to call her, Ish, did you see 1, 2, 3? But forget you're no longer an item. But currently, since I'm here, I'm ready to move on and meet the new person and get those habits in order. Butemba. But Tema, now that you're on the show is when you're going to stop calling your ex for vibes and for chats just because you missed her or you wanted to share your day and check if she... But Tema. Brother Nkuleko said that back in the day they used to call him Chris Brown. I'm not laughing. I really tried, but I always would fall back into cheating. This was concerning his previous relationship with someone he said that he loved very much, and they broke up because he felt that he was holding her back, and I am not satisfied with what he said. I'm not satisfied because I would have preferred for him to truly reflect on why he was cheating, on what he was feeling and thinking, so that he knows what he's doing, why he's doing it, how to fix it. He said that he never turned a woman down. That just sounds like he's a people pleaser. Said on my end, I was ready to get married. I was doing the things that one should be doing to become a husband, but my partner only noticed very later on when I had checked out of the relationship. And he said he was doing the things that one should be doing to become a husband. What are those things? I want to be a role model of a husband in our family. I want to build a successful family. I wish they had asked him what this means. What is a successful family? What is a role model of a husband to you? And I also think that it would include liberties that aren't extended to the wife, to maybe explore options, because he is, you know, the provider. Number 4, nice guys aren't good guys. Good guys are honest guys, affording you the right to make informed decisions about your future and about them. They are working at growing and improving actively. Nice guys tend to give you their representative, a perfect being who they are using in order to lure you into relationship with them, which often entails lies, which often entails them never saying no and having poor boundaries, people pleasing. They'll say things like they didn't want to hurt you or they didn't want to hurt the other person, which really just means that they lack boundaries and they don't want to offend, and they think that they are acting in everyone else's best interest when they're really just protecting themselves. What usually happens is that the hurt is prolonged and therefore compounded. What other things that may happen is that because they are unable to communicate their needs, they may overperform trying to make you do the same. And when you do not meet these needs, they aren't communicating, they may grow resentful and they may start to be passive aggressive towards you. Usually, this performance, this desire to be absolutely perfect comes from a place of having been abandoned or rejected in the past, either in a romantic relationship or as a child. And they are trying to validate the fact that they are a good person and they are worthy of love through you, especially if you make them look better, because you help them to prove that they aren't the problem, that other person was. Number 3, create a safe space for people and listen with openness so that they can tell you who they are. You already know who I'm talking about. But Upaleso sat down with Utepo at a dinner and they spoke. She was so calm, she was so inviting, she was very receptive. She listened to this man and she heard him, she understood him, and she knew the right questions to ask when it seemed that he was trying to duck and dive a little bit. So when she asked, did it compromise trust? He said yes, because there was nowhere else to hide and he felt safe. He felt as though he could say this and explain himself. And maybe if he was the kind of person who was taking accountability instead of trying to hide behind the ex, maybe they might have done it a little bit better. I believe that Vanessa has known for a very long time the kind of husband she has, because they had very fruitful conversations and she listened to him and she made him feel safe. And I think that if we did this, we all would find out a lot sooner the things that it takes others years to find out. The signs tend to be there. Only extreme cases with actual sociopaths or psychopaths are where someone successfully lives years and years of a secret life without ever making a mistake or showing signs or dropping a hint. So I do think that we are better off paying attention than not. Number 2, trauma bonding is not intimacy. This one was actually so eye-opening. In that office, when uMakoto and uNkululeko were busy tying one another in ropes and sharing all their secrets and traumas, they left that office having not gained understanding of who the other person is and how best to love them or serve them. Instead, they trauma dumped on one another. The bond they created was quite intense but temporary. Intense because it's almost as though they had survived this incredibly deep and scary event together, but it was lacking depth because they had not gained understanding of the other person or understanding of themselves in terms of how these things impact them today, how their behavior is reflective of those traumas, why they behave the way they do, and what they can do to stop themselves from sabotaging their love at the moment based on those fears and experiences. I believe uMakoto needed acceptance and to be heard in her relationship. But instead, because of their spiritual incompatibility, she constantly felt judged and rejected. And that is very triggering. uNkululeko needed recognition and praise. Instead, he was usually being criticized and not appreciated. So, although they stepped out of the room knowing more things about one another, I don't think they walked out understanding one another. It didn't help how they navigate their relationship. There was a shared event of trauma dumping, but it wasn't a growth experience for them. None of it was unpacked. None of it was explored in terms of what they need and what they do and what they can practice in order to navigate the world in a healthier way. Number 1, truth comes before healing. Makoto was arguably the most unkind person in her marriage consistently throughout the season. But she also has given us some of the most genuine apologies. She recognized the root of her anger and the root of the hostility, and she actually asked for help, not just regarding the relationship, but regarding herself. In the end, she chose peace over the chaos. In the end, she made the decision that was difficult to make because there was love between her and uNkululeko. But she recognized what was best for both of them would be to be apart. And I respect that greatly. I'm just extremely proud of her and how far she's come in a short amount of time. And I wish her healing and I wish her love in the very, very far future.